If you work on the go, if you're a teacher, a trainer, a student, or you like working in coffee shops or libraries, the items in this bag are going to be an absolute game changer. They're going to make you more productive and they're going to save you from a lot of stress. Hello everybody and welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Frank and I've been teaching technology for over 25 years. I have a master's degree in learning and technology from Royal Roads University. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, a Cisco certified academy instructor, and I have a lot of experience helping students succeed using technology. Here on this channel, we look at ways that we can use technology to learn, teach, and be more productive. Have you ever been in a situation where you've set up to do a presentation only to find that you had some sort of obstacle in your way? Well, I'm going to go through the contents of my emergency kit bag that I use. I always have this with me in my backpack because it has a few things that, while I don't use them every day, I use them enough that I want to have them with me. And I'll go through each item and talk about why I think it's so important to have with you. And at the end of this video, I'll even show you a special surprise that you'll find, I think, interesting. So let's take a look at this bag and the items inside of it. Okay, so the first item that we have in this bag is a portable power supply. Portable power is really useful, especially if you have a phone, battery runs out, or if you have some sort of device. Nothing worse than running out of power on the go. Now, I do have this smaller device that I carry in the bag. This is great for charging my cell phone, so I'll use this if I'm running out of juice on the cell phone. A lot of times if I'm going to be presenting or I'm in a classroom, I'll grab one of these little power pucks, and this will allow me to have two USB-C and one USB charging cable, so I'll be able to use this. This is 100 watts. This is very important to have something with 100 watts so that you can charge something like an iPad, or if you have VR goggles or something along those lines. If you like, you can also get a more deluxe version. Same thing, two USB-C, USB as well, but this has a battery built into it. So this doesn't quite fit in that bag, so I actually use this one quite a bit. I do carry it with me, but in the bag itself, I have this nice little portable guy and very useful. Gives me that two charges on my phone, all I need just to get it up and running. The next item you might be familiar with as well, it's a connection hub, so I can go in, use a USB-C connection on my computer. This will extend the number of ports that I have on my computer, but here's where it's very important to give some thought to this. Now, a few USB ports is always nice to have, but what I really need from these is I need to have an HDMI port, HDMI out, and I need to have a LAN port or a network port. Now this one is small and compact and quite nice. It does have HDMI, it does have a LAN port. If I'm going to be teaching, if I'm going to be out somewhere where I think I'm going to be doing presentations, I'll often use this one that is a little bit more to it. I get more USB ports, I get some media ports. Generally, that's fine, I don't care too much about that, but I get an HDMI port, I get a LAN port for network connectivity, and I get an RGB port. A lot of times we'll find that we'll go into a room to do a presentation and the projectors in the room actually have RGB connectors instead of HDMI, especially in an older building. Normally you can ask for an adapter, but you don't want to have to run around and ask for an adapter. You can bring your own adapter with you. So I'll often bring an adapter that has a little bit more in terms of ports. I'll link to everything down below, but this one here is one that's nice, that has the HDMI, it has the LAN port, it's very compact, really easy to carry around. And then of course this one I'll use if I know I'm going to be doing presentations and such. You can also get this really cool one that plugs into your iPad with a USB-C, it goes right onto the iPad, and it has an HDMI, but I generally will use one of the other ones. The next item is something that is very unusual, but I really like to have it. It is an HDMI connection cable, but HDMI, this is not what you think it might be. This is not an HDMI out. This is an HDMI capture cable. So I have a few videos here on the channel where I talk about this. I use my iPad as a second monitor for my Windows Surface, or I'll use my iPad as a monitor for any device that has HDMI out, for like a Switch or a Mac Mini or any of those things. And I can use USB-C or USB, and I can connect this into my iPad, and I can have video coming into the iPad, allowing me to use the iPad as a second monitor. So it's a little tiny cable, not very expensive, but it's HDMI input. The next few items I'm going to show you relate to audio. So the first thing I have is an adapter. This adapter is a USB adapter that allows me to connect both a headphone and a microphone to a device that takes USB connections. I find this adapter has come in handy so many times when I've wanted to do something. Let's say I had a headset with a microphone built in, or let's say I wanted to record something, but I didn't want to use the microphone on my laptop. Or again, if I want to listen to audio, I can use it. I'll show you a couple of other things that I carry with me. So very, very useful adapter because I can use USB in order to connect in both microphone and headphone. Speaking of microphone, that's the other item that I have in here. It's a little lav mic. So this is a very inexpensive lav mic. If we're doing any type of recording on the go, one of the things that I like to do is I'll actually use this adapter here. I'll use my microphone jack, and now I can use this little lav mic to talk into it and record nice crisp audio into my computer, into my device, whatever the device is that I'm connected into. And it's a very useful way to get nice audio. It has a little bit of a length to it as well. I can clip it in. If I'm walking a little bit around to the front of the room, I can talk into here. I get that nice crisp audio. To add to that, I always have a set of wired headphones. This is just a really old set of wired headphones that I have. You might think, well, we have USB, or sorry, not USB. We have Bluetooth microphones, things like the AirPods and those types of things, except how many times have they run out of power? Or how many times have you gotten to a computer that's not yours that does have an audio jack or a USB jack, and you want to be able to listen to a tutorial in a library, you want to be able to listen to something without disturbing those around you? No problem at all. You could either plug this into the computer if it has a headphone jack, or again, with this adapter, I now can connect up into the USB port of a computer. And in my case, I have both audio coming out from the headphones and audio going in from the lav mic. So this is a very easy to create setup that creates a nice audio environment for recording and listening to audio. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I don't have a computer with USB, everything is USB-C. So that's another thing I carry, a little USB to USB-C adapter. So this allows me to connect up my USB port here, and then I can, well, maybe it allows me to connect up. Here we go. It allows me to connect up my USB port and put it into USB-C. So if I have a USB-C connection, here I am, I've got my audio coming in. If I have USB, I can use USB. So a good example is if I want to record on an iPad or an iPhone with USB-C, here we go. I've got a nice setup with headphones and with a lav mic. I'm recording nice crisp audio into that device. The next device isn't really a technical device, but boy, it saved me a lot of times. Simple carabiner. So I just use this carabiner because a lot of times I'll have a water bottle. I want to put that onto my backpack. I put that around the strap of my backpack, not to dangle it, I don't like that, but if it's in a pouch even, I just don't want to lose my water bottle. So this is a great little device to have if you need to secure something. It's always handy. You'd be surprised how often I use it, and it doesn't weigh up anything or take up much space. It's a useful thing to have. Speaking of useful things to have, here's something a little unusual, but it's super handy. An external webcam. And this you can get this for $20, $30, and it's a really nice camera. It's 1080p, so it's not going to be 4K. I'm not using this to create super high quality video, but what I can do is I can use this to stream video, be in a conference call, or if I'm presenting, I have length. So I can actually plug this into my system, and I don't have to use the built-in camera on my laptop or the built-in camera on my phone. I can actually connect this up, and I can actually use this as a webcam that is external to do things like overhead shots of a document if I want to, or I can put this at an angle further away from me, or even have this out facing a whiteboard that I'm presenting on. So this is a super handy thing to have as well. Things that don't take up much space but are useful to have, very simple. I just have this little key fob here, and then I have a tiny 32 gig USB drive. And I just use this simply as a way of moving files around if I don't have a cloud access, if I'm not connected to the internet, and I just need to move something between two systems. It takes up no space at all, but when you need one desperately, and it's nice to just have one sitting in that bag. And the final thing is, I don't want to lose the bag, so I have a little air tag in there. So this way I have it found wherever I need to. I can press a little button here at beep and I can find it if I've dropped it somewhere. So just throw an air tag in the bag as well. Well, I hope you found it interesting, some of the things that I carry with me in the bag. Some of them are fairly common, like a little hub. Some of them might be a little less common, like the audio adapter or the HDMI input cable. If you're interested in seeing how I use some of these, check out some of my other videos where I show how to use an iPad as a monitor for a Windows system or for a Mac Mini or even for a Nintendo Switch. Or check out some of my audio videos where I'll use things like high-end lav mics and connect up with that USB adapter to get nice crisp audio on my iPhone. I have lots of videos on the channel. I hope you'll check them out. And oh, I promised you something else. I promised you a secret surprise. I wonder what that could be. Well, it's another bag of tricks. Well, this one's kind of interesting, so click on the next video to see what's in this bag, because you're going to find that you're going to want what's in this bag to make the most of what was in the first bag. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.